Hello and welcome to the Cutie Art Crusaders Spoilercast for My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, Season 5, Episode 20, Hearthbreakers. We're getting up to the end of the season here. My name is Rainbow Plasma, and today I'm joined by just one person, and his name is...
Atmospark.
And I'm glad to have you, man, because everybody keeps bailing on me for these spoiler casts. And it's nice to have you here because I like talking about ponies. I'm not sure about how you feel, but I like talking about ponies.
It's something to do on a Sunday morning.
Thank you for your ever unabating enthusiasm.
I mean, I could sound like this and talk about rocks.
So this episode was another Applejack and Pinkie Pie episode where Applejack's family went off to Pinkie Pie's family, which is huge, and we'll talk about that, to celebrate hearthwarming. And they share some traditions and some stuff goes wrong. And yeah.
What episode number is this?
This is like overall or in the season?
In the season.
20th.
Okay. That's weird. I don't know why they did this one.
Well,
at this stage. I don't know why this one would be closer towards the end of the season.
Well, I mean, we're not going to have one for Christmas, right? So
right.
I'm sure they just decided to... And they couldn't do it next week, because next week, I'm sure, will be some sort of Halloween-themed thing, maybe? I don't know.
Well, episode 21 was leaked. So.
Oh, was it? Okay.
I know you haven't seen it.
No, I haven't heard anything about it. I keep spoiler-free.
Episode 21 was leaked like 5 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Well... Anyways, whatever that is, it'll be. But yeah, I mean, I just think that it wasn't really like they couldn't put it out near Christmas, so they just didn't care. They just put it somewhere, right?
Right.
Yeah, I think, and I'm going to go off on a little bit of a tangent here because it still annoys the crap out of me. I think they had no semblance of an idea of episode structure in terms of the Cutie Art Crusaders.
Right.
Because their cutie marks are just pasted on.
Yeah.
They're just pasted on. They make like no sense. Like and
right.
I can't be the only one. The designs are fine, but the way that they're put on the ponies look awful.
Right.
Like,
and they change sizes all the time.
They're too small. And they're not facing the right direction. I focused on that during this episode. They were on the train going to the Pie's farm, right? And at some point, I kept looking back and forth between like Applejack and Pinkie Pie and Apple Bloom, right? And you could just tell that like, Applejack and Pinkie Pie's cutie marks were part of their puppets, and Apple Bloom's was just pasted on afterwards, right? And I get it, right? Like I get it. Sometimes you might have to do that because you don't know the order of the episodes. But like when Apple Bloom like jumped down into the center, it was just like I feel like I'm nitpicking, but it looks bad.
Yeah, I know.
I'm glad you agree with me.
They're not the best.
Yeah. I mean, I like the design of it. It's just it doesn't fit, it doesn't stretch, it doesn't contort. It's like, did the CMC just put stickers on their butt?
I mean, maybe that's the twist.
Season 6 twist.
Yeah. Season 6 opener or something.
Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get into that. That's all I have to say about that. I like the episode, and I want to go to you first as to like what things stood out for you in this episode.
Just Pinkie in general. Like, she's always so happy and bouncy and excited and pretty. And then her family just isn't that. Like, everyone in her family. Also, by the way, everyone in her family is completely different to what I was expecting. But, yeah, it's weird that she's got all this just monotonous gray family. And
yeah.
She's just not.
Her family was really cool, right? Like it was so unexpected, their different personalities. And someone made a really great point, which is when you look at her family, like all the kids are extremes in some way, right?
Yeah.
And so it kind of makes sense. Like Pinkie Pie doesn't seem like such an oddball when you actually get to know her family in terms of like their personalities, because everybody's got their own extreme. Pinkie is like extremely Pinkie, but you've got these new characters. You've got Limestone, was it? limestone
limestone.
pie. And she was like extreme bossy and like I don't even know how to describe her. Aggressive.
Right.
You have Marble Pie, who might be one of my favorite new characters, just like adorably shy, doesn't even say a word, like even more shy than Fluttershy. And then you've got Maud, again, the classic, the new fan favorite waifu, who just keeps popping up and keeps being
Keeps getting
awesome.
better.
Yeah, like the joke doesn't get old and they keep it fresh.
No.
And they're all extremes, right? Like they're all do their own extremes. So it's not so much that like it's Pinkie and then her family. It's more like the parents and then the crazy extreme kids.
Yeah. The what was it? Limestone Pie was the
Leader, the aggressive one.
Trying to figure out how to, aggressive is the word I'll use.
Yeah.
I used a different word when I was watching it. But that'll do. Yeah, I don't know what to feel about her.
Yeah, it was a really, I mean, yeah, she was.
I prefer Inky and Blinky.
Well, Inky and Blinky don't exist anymore. That headcanon is broken, and I'm glad because I think they got better names. But yeah, like I agree. It was kind of hard to tell because she's like everything. I don't know, like she's everything bad about Twilight and Rainbow Dash mashed into one with no good. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she is aggressive and cocky, which Rainbow Dash can be sometimes, and she's very controlling, which Twilight can be sometimes. And there wasn't really anything redeeming with it. But it worked. I mean, not every character has to be the nicest character, right? So it's fine.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And they make up for it with
they
their
gotta
other
have
sisters,
personalities.
right? Like
Right.
Pinky's awesome, Maud is awesome, Marble. I loved Marble. She was so cute. Her tendencies were very, very cute.
Right.
She was very easy to like as a character straight from the start. And can I point out a twin?
Yeah.
They're twins. Pinkie Pie
Who?
is a twin.
Is she?
Yeah. She said she was born 6 minutes after me.
That's right, yeah.
Like, what? You know, like, oh, okay, sure. Pinkie Pie's a twin. That's crazy. They just kind of like dropped that and then walked away from it, you know?
Right, I guess I
missed
got
it
wrapped
too.
up and I completely missed
No,
that.
I missed it too until I went to like the discussion and they were like, excuse me. Did we just drop the fact that Pinkie Pie was a twin? But yeah, I liked all the sisters, even Limestone. Like I liked how they mixed in these different extreme personalities, and it kind of made Pinkie Pie seem less strange compared to her family.
Right.
Sure.
She's just one extreme and everybody else is a different extreme.
Yeah, exactly. Her parents were interesting.
Right.
They went with the really old fashioned
Right.
kind of almost religious overtones. They had like choir music playing.
Yeah, it was the American Gothic type thing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think they've made references to that before, right?
Yeah, I think that one of the photos of them all together.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, that her family was really interesting. Their traditions were cool. I thought the story was incredibly complex in the way that they approached these different things. You know, the fact that both of them had these traditions and like neither one was right or wrong, but you could see some tendencies that were like, okay, well, the pies don't really seem to be showing like any, like the pies didn't really give any chance for the apples to do stuff, but then Applejack went way too far with it, you know, and kind of disregarded their whole traditions by saying like ours are better. It was a mess in terms just in terms of everything.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was a whole mess of old versus new and I guess rock versus country farm. Just a whole like a mesh of
it was like two different types of traditions, right? Yeah. It was an interesting story that I don't think was very predictable. I don't think it was a story that has been written a lot. You know what I mean?
No, which is good because there's a lot of people nowadays where that happens.
Yeah,
two families are completely different, and
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I thought the story was really good. I know sometimes like certain stories can be predictable with MLP, and some things are you can see them coming quite a bit. But this one I thought was definitely a step outside of that in terms of storytelling. This is a story that I've watched a bunch of cartoons. You know, I was a kid up until recently and still am. Duh. But like I've seen a lot of cartoons, and this kind of story I haven't really seen before, and it was really cool. It was very realistic. I feel like
it's usually it's usually one way or another, but this is a good amalgamation of two things.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up one particular point in the show, which I just thought was very, it was so mature for the show to do, and something that I just don't remember seeing other shows doing. Like Applejack and like messes up things by going too far, and the family overreacts to it, you know, and everything like that. And and like the Apple family's packing up, and then they cut to Applejack and Pinkie Pie in like the mines, just like sobbing.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, like that's pretty intense, you know, like it was very real.
Yeah.
It's a very sad moment that they weren't afraid to kind of like shy away from. I don't know. It was. I thought it was really cool because I don't see that in other shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've seen it before, but I don't remember where. Like, it might have been on I don't remember if it was a cartoon or not where I saw it last, but I had seen it before.
Yeah, it's just.
But I don't remember when.
It really struck me. That scene really struck me as being very powerful, and I liked it because I think that oftentimes nowadays we get inundated with this sense, especially if you're a guy, that like crying is weakness, and like don't cry, you know, all this blah 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 blah. And what it did here was it kind of presented it as this normal reaction to an extreme situation, right? Like this is just what they're doing. They're not crazy. They're both sad, like they're both dealing with it like this, and then they resolve it and they move on, but they had their time. And it's like, man, when have we ever seen that in shows?
Yeah, I know. It's
so rare.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's weird.
I just wanted to bring that up because I think that might be something that a lot of people overlooked, but having shows normalize a bit of sadness and crying might go a long way in terms of making people feel more okay with doing that kind of stuff, which is really just an interesting point. Whether or not you agree with it, it's an interesting point.
Yeah, yeah. It was interesting.
So is there
anything else? The whole episode was just interesting.
Yeah, it was so different, wasn't it?
It was.
Like it felt very different from a lot of other episodes, and I liked it for that. We've seen over 100 episodes of Pony now. I like it when they pull something different. But let's not talk about the different. Let's talk about something that stayed the same, and that's a good thing. Let's talk about Maud Pie.
Right.
She's great.
I want to hear the rest of her
songs. I love the fact that they just know exactly what they're doing with that character.
Yeah.
Right? Like near the end when they're just like, you know, I have a song. I have a list of songs. The first one is about rocks. And then they zoom in on her face. They're all about rocks. It's
pretty great.
It's so good. It's
also
great.
Her voice actor is pretty great.
Yeah, it's true. Apparently all of Pinkie Pie's sisters were voiced by the same person who does Maud. Fun fact.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, so
she didn't sound anything like a character when I met her.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's a good sign. It's a sign of a good voice. I also really liked, even though it was in a small kind of burst on the topic of Maud, I really liked the interactions between the individual family members and like between Apples and Pies, like when they split up. It was very quick. They only showed like a little bit. But I liked it. They started finding a little bit of common ground. Big Mac and Marble are adorable.
Can I just, on that for a sec, people are shipping those two, and then all I can think of is, dude, they're cousins.
No. Here's the deal. I'm gonna shut you down immediately. So like, according to the piece of paper between Pinkie Pie and Applejack, if they are cousins, they're like 52nd cousins.
Still.
No, like genetically speaking, like you're like the average person you meet is something like a sixth or a seventh cousin or something like that. Like it's once you get past like it's like exponential. So
I mean, there's the 6 degrees of separation, but that doesn't mean you're a cousin.
look, all I'm saying is that they were cute, regardless of not whether or not you want to look at them as a
they
shippy
were.
thing. They were both adorable.
I mean, I'll agree with that.
Yeah, and I liked I like it when I like that, but I also liked it when they put like Maud and Apple Bloom together because those are two people that I wouldn't put together.
I've got something to say on that one. Silver brought this up to me. Apple Bloom is the character that makes friends with the characters that nobody else likes. For example, Zecora.
Right.
So she's the one that will reach out to these people, to these characters.
Right. That are a little bit distant.
And troubleshoots.
Right. That's an interesting point. But I liked their interaction. They seem to kind of like warm up to each other.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, she does that. It's the innocence of children, etc.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I really don't know what to describe other than this episode felt so different from a lot of other episodes, and I really liked that. Part of it was the pairing of the main six that's Pinkie Pie and Applejack are like one of the least frequently seen characters together, which is I'm sure is why they were like, oh, we should do something with this, and then they did the whole Pinkie Apple Pie thing last season.
Yeah,
and then
they're
continuing it here.
I like Apple Pie.
Oh, it's good. So does Pinkie Pie. She put them together this episode.
Yeah. What about Holder's Boulder? It's an egg,
Boulder. Right? Right, like it's a dragon's egg.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder where that's gonna go.
That they. So I think this is an instance of storytelling where it's like you just leave yourself little things just in case. So like it could just be nothing. It could just be a boulder, right? But like,
right
in the future, if they ever need to do something about it, maybe
yeah.
Or they could pull it into some sort of like crazy season finale wrap up thing. That might be cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great point though. Because like they did go out of their way to kind of talk about the boulder a lot, right?
Right.
Not just like when they were explaining the whole thing when Granny Smith was explaining, but also like
which I sort of figured before she explained that. Right.
But then like they really put an emphasis on that boulder.
Stay off the boulder and stuff.
That's a good point. I look forward to seeing whether or not that turns into anything. It's nice to leave open threads as well, even if you never close them. People say this all the time. People are like, oh, but they didn't wrap up this thing. It's like, you don't have to wrap up everything. Sometimes it's fun to leave loose threads so people can use their, I don't know, imagination.
Pull at them and can pull at them and unravel them.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you'll have a pile of thread instead of a sweater.
Yeah. I did want to mention one more thing on the topic of Applejack and Pinkie Pie. Can I just mention, normally, Fluttershy isn't my favorite character. What has happened to her?
Right?
Did she die?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but...
So, I don't remember too much from the first half of the season, but was there like a bunch of episodes with her in it or something?
I don't remember.
Because, like, I don't remember there being a bunch of episodes with her, and there's been, like, 0 appearances, basically, from her in the second half.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I apologize if you are a Fluttershy fan. It does not seem to be your season, although apparently last season was rarities, like, there's no rarity episodes, and now there's, like, all of them. So maybe they'll do the same thing next season with.
I mean, I could spoil something, but I'm not going to.
I see. Okay, well, that's kind of technically spoiling it just by saying that, but I'll let it slide.
Right.
All right. Well, I guess that's basically it. Was there anything else that you want to talk about the episode?
I don't think so. I was trying to think. I don't think so.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't really about the individual things. Yeah, we talked about the family, but just like the overall, it was just like, what? Like, it really took me on a weird journey through this episode, and like I said before, it was very different, and I like that. I like that every once in a while. It's cool.
I want to go to their cave full of gems.
That did seem like a
crystals.
nice cave. Yeah, you'd think that they would be very rich.
You would think so.
It
wouldn't
seemed
you?
like very nice gems.
I mean, it's a rock farm, right? I mean, we're not going to sell rocks.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe they don't realize what they're sitting on. Right?
Maybe.
They're like, they care about rocks so much that they're like, oh, found more valuable crystals. And they like toss it out the back.
Right. Waiting for rarity to get there.
Yeah. Just like you see, like they zoom out and you see like in the distance, like plowing through snowfields, just like Rarity being dragged by her horn, like ah!
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is everything for this Spoilercast, guys. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the episode, whether or not you liked it or not. We'll see you next week for the episode that apparently everybody's seen already. And hopefully we'll have a couple more people other than Joel and I, although I enjoy doing the Spoilercast with you, but
Yeah.
it was fun. All right. Well, that is everything. So thank you guys for watching. My name is Rainbow Plasma.
I'm Apple Spark.
And we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.